Okay, so in this video, I'm going to discuss aggregation with you and talk about the relationship between classes and how we can use that. To start off, I'm going to do a simple two classes. One of those is going to be around the breed and color of an animal. So I'm going to initialize that class, self, breed, and color. Then I've got self.breed equals breed, self.color equals color. So I've passed those in when I create it. I'm also, at this point, I'm going to create another one. So I'm just going to move this down a little bit. So I'm going to create another class for a dog, because the idea that I want is I want to have information about a dog, but what I also want to do is be able to use the breed and color for different animals. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to initialize the name, the age, and I'm going to leave it there for a minute. We've got self.name equals name, self.age equals age, and also we're going to now have a look at what we've got here. So I've got a class called breed and color and a class called dog. Now what I want to be able to use is combine a relationship between these, and I'm going to show you how I set up a class called dog info to begin with. Now I'm going to have my dog information and it's called breed underscore color. So I've used this class, and you'll notice to begin with, I'm going to pass in Labrador and golden. So it's a golden Labrador. That's now set up. So I've used this object. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually return this information for. So I'm going to create another method. So we've got animal underscore breed color self. And what this does is, if I were to call this, I would say self.breed plus, and his color is self.color. So that would return, say for example, I put in Labrador and golden, it would say Labrador and his color is golden. So I've got that set up, all right? Or if I put in, for example, a cat, Siamese, and it was black, it would say Siamese and his color is black, all right? So I've now got that initialized and stored in dog info. So I've stored this class and I've initialized it as dog info. What you might want to do sometimes when you create classes, so a part of aggregation, is you may want to just use the method from this, whereas in other, you may want to use inheritance, but that inherits the whole lot. I only want to be able to use this particular method. So what you can actually do is, rather than inheriting the whole class, you can actually create a relationship and pass it into the other class. So in dog, I will just show you this now. I'm going to create one called def show dog, and we're going to use self. But what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to change this class. I'm going to pass into this class another parameter called dog info. All right. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go self.dog info. Sorry, we're going to show that it's an object. Dot underscore dog info equals dog info. So what I can do at this point now is I can return, all right, self dot object dog info dot animal underscore breed color. Now what that would do is it would use this object, because I'm going to show you how I pass it in a moment. So I'm going to have array equals dog, array, age, we're going to say 5, and I'm now going to pass in this object so I can use that method. So I'm going to pass in this object here, dog info. So I've now passed that in. I passed in Labrador and Golden, all right? Can you see the relationship forming here? So I've initialized this using breed color, but I've passed in what I've initialized, such as Labrador and Golden. What I can now do is use this method. So I'm going to go print, because watch what I've done here as part of dog. I've used the object that I passed in, but I've used the method only. I've only went for the method .breed color. So now what I can do is I can print Ray dot name plus is a, and here I am going to use Ray dot and show underscore dog. And what that should do now is use this method, but it's going to return this method that has been passed into it. Now, the good thing about the relationship here is they are independent from each other, so they can exist without each other. Let me just run this. Ray is a Labrador and his color is golden. So this is an example of aggregation. All I've done here is, as part of the dog class, I've utilized the relationship there, and I've passed that method into the dog class when I use the initialization of it here. Now, where that might be useful is you may have a different number of bosses. You may want to just use the method, but ultimately they are independent of each other. So Ray can still exist without dog info, and dog info can exist without the need for Ray. But down here, I've combined the two methods together, and that is a brief introduction to aggregation.